Greetings, and welcome to this brief introduction to Plato's Republic, Book 7. Book 7 is the core, the eccentric core, one could say, of the Republic. Imagine the Republic is made up of three spheres: a big sphere surrounding a medium-sized sphere surrounding a small sphere. They're not concentric, their centers are slightly askew to each other. The dialogue is a diameter, a straight line through the center of the three spheres and out again. So books 1 to 2 and 10 would belong to the outermost sphere. It's composed of the city of speech. These men here, these talkers, Socrates, Glaucon, Adeimantus, Thrasymachus, etc., and their opinions and beliefs and hopes and fears. Books 3, 4, almost all of 5, as well as books 8 and 9, would belong to the second sphere. It's composed of what these interlocutors talk about, to see their soul writ large, the city in speech. In books 3 through 5, it's the just city, and in books 8 and 9, the other cities, the unjust cities. So, books 6 and 7 would constitute the innermost central sphere. At the height of the most just city is the most just man, and this is the philosopher. The philosopher, not the city, is the center of the Republic. But even here in this center, the city casts a shadow. Book 6 sees the philosopher as the city sees him, as useless and wicked. Socrates tries to touch the philosopher up as most honorable and most useful to the city. But that still means that the philosopher is seen from the perspective of the city. Book 7 appears to represent a break. In Book 6, the city looks down on the philosopher. In Book 7, the philosopher looks down on the city as a cave. Understanding the image of the cave, then, is the key to understanding Book 7. It depicts, Socrates says, the turn that is true education. The learnings that follow it are the means to that turn. Even dialectic, the greatest learning, then does not simply deliver the truth, it too prepares the way. Now, in the image of the cave, there are two places, which Socrates says accord to the two main parts of the divided line. The first is the cave proper, which Socrates calls the place of perception or sensation. The second is the place of thought or intellect. It is the place outside the cave, which of course also contains the cave. The second place encompasses the first place. They're not two separate worlds. What is striking here is that Socrates calls the cave, the home of politics, the place of sensation. For human beings, what we believe shapes what we see. Politics shapes perception, all the way from what we call world to what we call thing. It's also striking that Socrates talks of the place of visible things and the place of invisible things. Place is the place of bodies. The would-be philosopher is turned around, goes up, goes outside, wanders outside, all as an embodied being. The 5 learnings with which Socrates follows the cave image underscore this point. They are arithmetic, geometry, stereometry, astronomy, and dialectic. Now, Glaucon was surprised by stereometry, which is the study of bodies. By inserting it, Socrates makes it the central learning at the very center of Book 7. He thus points to what's forgotten in the Republic, the body. Recall from Book 1 the promised feast, which they never get. They also exile old age in the form of Cephalus. Their search is for justice of the soul. They make a most just city, which lacks a demos, a citizen body. The guardians of this city are stripped of possessions, even families. Justice wants to be free of the body, to be only soul. So why remember the body? Because then we recall eros, which is eros of something or someone, but is always my eros, concentrating me in myself, in my body. Eros is hidden in Book 7. It is hidden in the way Socrates describes the turn to philosophy as requiring external force. It is obscured by the assumption that the philosopher kings in training can be shuttled from gymnastics to liberal arts to public service to philosophy and back like statues that can be moved around a room, motivated by external honors rather than inner desire. Likewise, the absence of eros is revealed at the end of Book 7, in the final solution that makes the most just city possible. Parents must abandon the children of their bodies. The cave is a world within the world that distinguishes itself by making a world for and among its denizens. They share pistis, belief or faith. As used here, pistis is the power of perceiving this world together through language. What we hear shapes what we see. The cave is full of sounds. I would venture to say that it is full of music, for language itself is a sort of music. Music here meaning that which brings us together into koinonia. We come together in talking about, arguing about, even singing about this world. If the cave is full of music, the outside world seems full of silence. But this too is an image. It is an image that reflects our lack of knowledge of the whole. The silence of the outside world calls to the philosopher's eros. I'm Keith Whitaker. Thank you again for joining this brief introduction to Plato's Republic, Book 7.